They're in the gate. And they're off. Acknowledge Me Please gets the first call, and Desert Gate comes away in second. They're followed by Proletariat, who's on the rail, 2 lengths off them, and Jetway is fourth and last. Past the half-mile pole, Acknowledge Me Please is the leader, prompted by Desert Gate. The 2 favorites go to the 3/8 pole to square off. Jetway inches up on the outside of Proletariat. Acknowledge Me Please still ahead in front. Desert Gate right with them. They're now 4 or 5 in front of Proletariat third and Jetway. Match race turning for home. Acknowledge Me Please and Desert Gate arrive at the top of the stretch together. Acknowledge Me Please digging in very gamely. Desert Gate still ahead back. They pass the 8th pole, and now Desert Gate asserts himself and gets the best of Acknowledge Me Please. Desert Gate pulls away under a hand ride to score by 2.5. Acknowledge Me Please was a very good second. Proletariat third. Going in. We're in the gate. And they're off. Not the best of beginnings for Be Punctual, who immediately recovers, though, and will sprint up to take the lead. He'll have to be giant to win. So it's Be Punctual going to the front, a little bit wide into that turn as well. Pete's Old Fashioned comes through on the inside to challenge and take that lead away. Fireman Dan and Mongolian Max are third and fourth, and Uncharted at the back of the field. They're coming to the 6 furlong pole, and it's Antonio Fresu and Pete's Old Fashioned leading the way, with Be Punctual a half length back second and Fireman Dan a willing third. He is followed by Uncharted and Mongolian Max. The favorite is at the back, 4.5 or 5 off the battle up top between Pete's Old Fashioned and Be Punctual. Those 2 are head and head coming to the half-mile pole. 2 back, Fireman Dan is in third, Uncharted fourth, and still 4 more to Welfin Orantes and Mongolian Max. Heading to the 3/8 pole. And it is Be Punctual, the wide leader, taking command around the turn. He's challenged by Fireman Dan, ridden hard to get closer to him second. And at the rail, Pete's Old Fashioned third. Mongolian Max is underway, just went by Uncharted, but still 7 lengths off the lead with 1/4 mile to go. Be Punctual and Fireman Dan. Fireman Dan puts his head in front at the top of the stretch. 2 back on the inside, Pete's Old Fashioned in third. Mongolian Max is picking it up a bit, has 5 to make up in the final furlong, where it is Fireman Dan in front, opening up 2. A very green Mongolian Max between horses and Pete's Old Fashioned. Fireman Dan wins it by 2 lengths. Photo for second between Pete's Old Fashioned and Mongolian Max. That's a double for Armando Ayuso. We're in the gate. And they're off. Whiskey in a Teacup is going out for the lead. Don't Test Your Luck along the inside has speed, and Big Don Smiling trying to sneak up and does so right inside that pair. Momo's Kiddo 4 wide, but just a neck off the lead. Then K. Seraph and Bobby's Alibi trails. It's Big Don Smiling on the inside, just in front. Don't Test Your Luck ahead away. A 4 wide Momo's Kiddo and Whiskey in a Teacup. They continue to do battle into the far turn with K. Seraph. Now the new leader is Momo's Kiddo with 1/4 mile to go. He's made a wide bid for the lead, and Momo's Kiddo the one to catch at the top of the stretch. Big Don Smiling angles out to try and get back into it. And another 2 back to Don't Test Your Luck. Here's Bobby's Alibi making progress at the rail inside the 8th pole, and Momo's Kiddo with a 3.5, 4-length lead. Bobby's Alibi takes second. It will be Momo's Kiddo scoring by 3 lengths. Bobby's Alibi second, Whiskey in a Teacup, and Big Don Smiling. They're in the gate. And they're off. Spotted Haze, very quick. So is Hurricane Layla. Ellen Jorth on the outside has good speed, too. How about Pavel is fourth, 3 lengths off the lead, 4 clear of Tight Squeeze, who races on the outside of Lil Bit Bossy. The 2 trailers of Fleet Ride and Press Your Luck at the back. It's Spotted Haze passing the half-mile pole, clear by a length and a half. Hurricane Layla is a good second at the rail. How about Pavel right next to Ellen Jorth? Those 2 sharing third. Still Tight Squeeze racing fifth, 8 lengths off the lead. Another 2 back to a Fleet Ride outside a little bit Bossy and Press Your Luck. Approaching the quarter poles, Spotted Haze, Hurricane Layla. Hurricane Layla now takes the lead. Ellen Jorth is in third. On the outside, here's Tight Squeeze getting into the race, has a clear shot as Tight Squeeze kicks it into high gear with a furlong left to go. What confident handling we have here on Tight Squeeze, who breezes by. Press Your Luck's going to try to rally into second. Tight Squeeze, Press Your Luck, Tight Squeeze. Toyed with them. Wins it by 3.5. Press Your Luck was second. Ellen Jorth third. Then Hurricane Layla. And a photo between a Fleet Ride and Spotted Haze. They're in the gate. And they're off. Putt for dough out very sharply. Here's Stellar Cap moving through along the inside. Miss Michelada quicker than both and up to take the lead. To lose the track, 1 from the rail. Smile Baby Smile is at the fence. Gap of 4 back to Outer Sunset. High Gunner trails. Miss Michelada, a narrow lead. To lose the track comes through on the inside to challenge. And in between those 2, it's Stellar Cap. So now Stellar Cap and To Lose the Track go on. Half length Miss Michelada, 3 deep in third. Putt for dough, ask for more fourth. Then Smile Baby Smile, 4 clear of Outer Sunset and High Gunner. They have a quarter of a mile to go. It's Stellar Cap narrowly To Lose the Track on the inside. Putt for dough launching a 4 wide bid outside Miss Michelada. Top of the lane, Stellar Cap though, 1 to catch. Comes to the 8th pole at the rails. Smile Baby Smile putting in a dangerous late bid. These 2 are clear of Putt for dough. To Lose the Track drops back. It is Stellar Cap who has something left. Now Smile Baby Smile angles out under Ricky Gonzalez. Smile Baby Smile, it's going to be close. Smile Baby Smile, what a ride. Got up to nail Stellar Cap. Then it was Putt for dough third, High Gunner fourth. They're in the gate. And they're off. Game Warrior with a beautiful beginning. Day and Age, Helicity along the inside, Muscled moves right into contention and also angles in to save ground. Lyle the Crocodile is just inside of Muscled and actually forces him back out. Lyle the Crocodile, a little bit hard to handle here, and that was not good for Muscled. In the meantime, Maz is on the inside, 4 lengths off the lead. It's another 2 back to Game Warrior, who broke well and settled smoothly, 7 off the pacemaker, Day and Age. The 3 trailers are Tariff, coming in a little hot, and 2 more back to the Padre. They're on to the backstretch, and it's Day and Age. And Mike Smith leading it, but getting pressure now. Lyle the Crocodile and Hector Berrios just has to let him roll. Lyle the Crocodile had his own ideas, and Berrios obliges. They've opened up 2. Day and Age second. Then comes Gun Runner Charlie in third. They're followed by Muscled on the outside of Helicity, 4 lengths clear of Game Warrior. At the rail, Tariff is next, 8 lengths off the lead. He is followed between rivals doubles by the Padre, and a 3-wide coming in a little hot. Lyle, the Crocodile, at the top of the stretch, has a 2.5-length lead. Gunrunner Charlie second. Day and Age is next. Muscled on the outside. Helicity in the red down at the rail. They're in the final furlong. Lyle, the Crocodile. Day and Age coming back. And now Game Warrior is finding his best stride in the center of the course, as is the Padre. The Padre is coming like a rocket on the outside. It's going to be close. Day and Age got there. The Padre was absolutely motoring Game Warrior and Lyle, the Crocodile. Goes in. And they're off. Hijazi broke out very smoothly. Banyek is right up alongside, and Banyek takes the lead. Those two speed clear. Traegar is in third. Eagle's Flight moves up, takes the third spot, and Manitowish hard-ridden at the back of the field. So Banyek has a very easy lead, as Hijazi will track him from second, a length and a half back, and moving in once again. Then Traegar is 2 lengths off the pace. Down at the rail, Eagle's Flight in striking range. That quartet covered by 3 lengths and a gap of 5 to Manitowish. It is Banyek in front. Hijazi a half length behind. Banyek doing it very easily, coming to the quarter pole. Hijazi has to get after him now in second. Traegar third. Eagle's Flight is fourth. They pass the quarter pole and turn for home. And Banyek on the outside. Hijazi right to Banyek now inside the final 1/8 of a mile. Banyek, Hijazi. Banyek is tough as nails on the inside. Hijazi trying to get by him. Banyek, Hijazi. Banyek is inching away, and Banyek is too fast for Hijazi. Traegar finished third, then Eagle's Flight. And they're off. Fast start for video review. War to Remember has some early gas too, and these two hook up. A length in front of Tease Touch, who comes away in a good spot third and is now moving up willingly. It's already 5 lengths back to the next flight. Say Never No More, racing on the inside of Smiling Tizzy. That pair is followed by Freet Potato, 3 lengths clear of Joser. San Anton second to last, and Quick Question at the back of a strung out field. It's Video Review passing the half-mile pole in front by a length. Tease Touch moves into second, followed by War to Remember. 7 lengths back, Say Never No More. Inside Smiling Tizzy. Then San Anton. Dozier's down at the rail, and it's Fleet Potato, the trailer. It is Video Review with a 1/4 of a mile to go, going on willingly. Has to hold off Tease Touch, and Tease Touch moving in at the top of the lane, up to take the lead. Video Review is second, still a distance to the rest. And Tease Touch and Umberto Rispoli, it's just a matter of how far. Tease Touch came back ready, and he'll cruise through the stretch. Wins by 4 lengths, could have been much more. Video Review second, very close photo for third. That's either Say Never No More or Joser. And Smiling Tizzy completes the super high 5. 50. The $3 pick 3, 393.60. 50-cent pick 4, 235.05. Pick 5, 1,151.45. The super high 5, $1,662.
Hi, everybody, and a happy, and pleasant Saturday, I should say, on a glorious afternoon or a late morning here at the Great Race Place, Santa Anita. We are on countdown. We've got 24 races scheduled for you over the next 31 hours, so not much time to sleep, not much time to handicap, but don't fret. I've got the perfect seminar guest. He eats, sleeps, and breathes horse racing. His name, Gino Buccola. Gino, happy Saturday. Welcome to the seminar.
Oh, thank you. Always excited to be here, winding down what's been a really successful year. Honestly, from the very beginning, opening day, the first meet before the Hollywood meet started, good energy, good vibes. The handle was up. The attendance was up. Lots of positivity. And I think that starts from the top, right? That starts with Aiden, with Nate, Amy Zimmerman, everybody doing all the stuff together. And I'm excited to close it all out. We're going to end strong, and we're going to make some money today.
And most importantly, Gino, one of the most important factors behind the success of a meet is the safety of the racetrack.
Yep.
And the morning workouts, the afternoon races, whether it's been on the main track or the turf, I don't want to mush anything, but it's been a spectacular percentage in terms of horses that are able to come back and basically, continue to race as a racehorse. That is really the ultimate measure of a successful meet.
Yeah, just good energy from the top to the bottom for the bettors, for the handle, for people on track, the attendance, and we've got some really big opportunities over the last couple days. Don't forget, since tomorrow is the closing day, you're going to get the mandatory payouts in all of those exotics, and I have to mention a little shout out, Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. My pops, who got me into horse racing tomorrow. I know he's watching right now at home. He's going to text me in a minute and let me know if I make a mistake on anything, but he's always one of my biggest fans. So thanks, Dad. Gino Buccola Sr. is my dad, so I'm Junior.
Wow. So certainly Father's Day tomorrow is going to be a big day here at Santa Anita. A lot of events planned, and we'll certainly expect plenty of fathers to be in attendance. Now, at the end of the meet, Gino, we all like to kind of recap and think about horse of the meet, claim of the meet, of course, the leading jockeys, the leading trainers. But as horse players and handicappers, we always like to think back over the last 6 months about a really good score we had. Do you have anything you could share with us that maybe fits that criteria?
Yeah, from a fan standpoint, I'll mention journalism because it was a lot of fun seeing his success here. And then I actually got to see him in the Preakness. And that was that moment when he almost goes down. It was like, oh my gosh. So knowing, it's journalism for being a Southern California guy, watching him out here and going there, that was fun. But one of the things that I've really loved about the last 6 months, 8 months at Santa Anita is how they've kind of tweaked some of the wagers to be a lot more player friendly, low takeout wagers. We've got the $3 turf pick threes, the late doubles, and I love the coast to coast pick five. That's the wager that combines racing from Santa Anita and from Gulfstream Park. It's that 15% low takeout. It's the dollar minimum. DRF was giving out free PPs for those. Still 2 more of them left today and tomorrow. I hit one February 15th, Palos Verdes Day, and it was the greatest way to close. Roll on Big Joe was just sitting in a perfect spot. He opened up, and I'm screaming, roll on Big Joe. I was too deep to close that race, and I'd already gotten the big prices out of the way, so I hit for just under 12 grand, the coast to coast there. So that was a really good one. Takes care of a lot of losses when you hit for a coast to coast. And I'm not someone, most of my tickets are in the 100, 150 range, so I'm not necessarily playing the big, massive $300, $400, $500 and above tickets. So that was a really nice score for me. That was good. Built up some good energy. I'd say from about November till now, knock on wood, has been one of the better stretches I've had gambling wise. So hope we can keep rolling.
And as a horse player, Gino, it's hard to hit singles and doubles and really show a profit. You alluded to it, but you really need those home runs or grand slams to kind of tide you through the inevitable losing periods. We all put our heart and soul into handicapping, but we're not going to hit it 100%. We're going to go through some cold spells. But when you hit for $12,000 on a $1 base wager, that A, makes you feel great, B, it gives you some extra money, and C, it basically lets you recoup any losses you had up to that point.
Yeah, so you just got the one thing you can do as a gambler is you can make the smart wagers and you can play the horses that you know and you like, because there's a lot of things that are out of our control, right? You can get a trip that you weren't expecting. You can win and get disqualified. There are crazy things that can happen. But the one thing I know I can always do, I can make smart wagers. I can play the horses that I was planning on playing. If I do that, I'm going to be frustrated sometimes, but at the end of the day, I can live and die with what happened.
You represent your company colors. You're wearing a Daily Racing Form polo shirt, and I'm an extensive user of Formulator. A lot of horse players out there might not be familiar with what Formulator can do, but it is a marvel at the experiences that it can open up your eyes to in terms of trainer strengths or weaknesses at the click of a button.
So we give you an entire database over the last 5 years of every single race, every track, everywhere you can imagine, and you can you can change the stats and specify anything you want. And we'll go through a few of them today. We've been sending in DRF formulator facts to the 6th race each and every day here. So you've probably seen a few of them here and there, but jockey trainer combinations, stuff about horses and trainers in stakes races, stuff about surfaces, distances. So just incredible amounts of information just at the tip of your finger right there. And all you have to do is just pick and choose how you want to use it and interpret that information. It's formulator. And on a day like today, they actually have a day pass where you can pay like $10 for a classic. If you want to use the formulator, I think it's 15, and you can get access to all the tracks all day long. So if you're looking at races today from Delaware or from Monmouth, they've got big racing today. Churchill has big stakes races as well. You can get all of that stuff at shop.drf.com.
Say that website one more time.
Shop.drf.com.
You would be a better handicapper by doing it. Let's use one example. I know you like a horse in the last race. I won't tip our hand completely, but it's a second-time starter going from a sprint to a route on the turf. You could designate all those categories in formulator for that trainer over the last 5 years and would show you instantaneously, A, how many starts that trainer had fitting that criteria, B, how many wins that trainer had fitting that criteria, and C, how many in-the-money finishes that would fit that criteria for that trainer. That's impossible to document or research on your own without the use of formulator.
It'll show you the exact horses, the exact horses, the exact race, the exact
their
date,
past performances.
Their past performance. You can click, you can pull it up, you can see the odds that they were, right? So you can just start to figure out patterns that certain trainers are good with and that they have success with. If you're not someone who's playing Southern California races all the time, like Tom is here, you're not going to necessarily understand all of the little patterns that some of these trainers have, right? That helps you, and it makes it so much easier when I go and look at a race, like I said, at Monmouth Park or at Delaware, and I might not know exactly what's been going on, but I can see, oh, you know what? This trainer's done really well the last 4 or 5 times they've had this move. I think it's invaluable.
And for all the runners that are entered on every day's card, let's just use Sandy to example. If you go into Formulator, you can watch the replays for all the previous horses' running lines by just clicking on the link, clicking on the video replay. It doesn't matter what track they ran at.
Yep.
Turf Paradise, Canterbury Park, Santa Anita, what have you. Click of a button, the replay's right there.
And then the Equibase chart is also, you can click right there and you get the chart. So instead of having 10 different tabs up on your computer, you can get it all right there with Formulator pedigree information. You click right there, you can see the dam, you can get the past performances for the dam. What did they do? Where did they succeed? Then you click on the siblings, you can get the direct progeny. Oh, look, there were 4 horses in here that won first time out. This horse is going to be maybe precocious. Oh, look, all of these horses' siblings went long on the grass. This horse might be good going long on the grass. Those are things that I'm looking for, and it makes it so much easier when it's right there for you.
And it also shows the success of a trainer first off the claim, but it also shows first after being claimed off of. So if you're wondering, okay, a horse was claimed off of Phil D'Amato or Doug O'Neill, how well do trainers do claiming off those specific trainers? Click of a button and you can find out exactly what's going on.
Prices, how they do with horses that are favored or certain odds, certain tracks, just really anything that you can think of is in that database. It is excellent, and it's going to save you a ton of time if you haven't checked it out. Shop.drf.com.
The more information you have, the more success you'll have at the betting window. Gino's done all the work. We've got a marathon card of 12 races. He's going to tell us who he likes on today's card and the reasons behind it. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on today's Saturday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf at 0 feet. Here are the early changes. Race 1, scratch number 4, Jaguar John. The early pick 5 starts with the first of 12. Race 2, scratch number 2, Velocious. There's an early pick 4. 5, Happy Sue will carry 2 pounds overweight. In the third, scratch number 3, Queen Gervin. In the fourth, no scratches or jockey changes. Turning to the fifth, no changes. The sixth race, the Possibly Perfect, has a middle pick 4, no changes. In the seventh, we start the pick 6. It's on races 7 through 12. Scratch number 2, Grazing in the Grass. Scratch number 11, Lino's Angel. And note that number 12, Final Table Lady, is 1 pound overweight. In the 8th, All Turf Pick 3 and Late Pick 5 begin, no changes. The 9th is the beginning of the Late Pick 4. In the 10th, start of the Late Pick 3, it's the Grade 3 Daytona Stakes, scratch 4, Daniel's Magic, and scratch number 5, Stay Hot. In the 11th, scratch number 2, Sugar Beets. And scratch number 11, Quality Cat. And in race 12, Super High 5 wagering is offered. Number 1, Hello Kiddo Kiddo, 1 pound over. Scratch number 3, Club Teaser. Number 6, Pure Chaos, 1 pound over. Number 10, California Rocks, 2 pounds over. 11, Severe Clear, 1 pound over. And scratch number 14, Silver Flirt, the 13, will run. Enjoy your day here at Santa Anita Park. Keep in mind, we have the Coast to Coast Pick 5 every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Combining races from Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita Park with a low 15% takeout. It'll start today at 2:08 Pacific with Gulfstream's 9th. Tomorrow closing day is Father's Day. Lots of activities for Dad here, including Drams for Dad, the Chandelier Room, and mandatory payouts, of course, in all pools tomorrow. 4th race today named in memory of Professor Gordon Jones, whose celebration of life was here at Santa Anita today. The Prof remembered at the Great Race Place. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom Quigley's special guest today is Gino Buccola.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Gino Buccola. He's one of the handicappers for Daily Racing Form. He does an excellent job on a daily basis. You can see a lot of his videos via X and Twitter and other social media channels. We touted the benefits of Formulator with both you and I being big believers of Formulator. We've done the work, but now we need to find some winners. So let's kick things off, Gino, in race number 1, which begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course. The turf rails today are set at 0 feet. This is for $25,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. There is one scratch. Scratch the 4, Jaguar John, leaves us with a field of 6. Number 2, Fleet Feet is a first-time gelding. The current choice on the tote board at 6-5 is number 6, Gazone from the Red Hot John Sadler Barn. To give you a Formulator statistic for the Sadler Barn, since mid-May, Gino, they have saddled 20 runners on the turf course here at Santa Anita. 11 of them, or 55%, have hit the winner's circle. 11 for 20 with his last 20 turf starters since mid-May. Is Gazone going to add to that win total?
I'm not sure. I thought both of the horses who may be short prices could be a little bit vulnerable in here, Gazone and Fleet Feet. One horse that I thought was interesting, I'm going to give a look to Captain Sparrow. So this horse debuted on the turf early on in his career. He was facing maiden special weights on the turf. Both of his first 2 races on the turf, I think we can be forgiving about a lot of his career, actually. We would see race, long layoff. He'd come back after a long layoff, race, then another long layoff. That was his pattern for a while. But he has shown us that he can fire off the bench. He actually is training really well. He's actually training with a horse named Watsonville, who's actually was entered in the stakes race later on today. The dam of Captain Sparrow was great at stakes place on the turf. It was a 3-time winner on the grass. And I just like the trip that he sat. Most recently, when he dropped down in September to the maiden 20, he had a good start. He sat off. He was 4th to the outside, about 3 lengths off. He made this big move. It was a pretty easy win. And while it was a lower level race, he actually beat 3 horses who came back to win their next start. So I'm just looking at a lot of positive. I think he checks the box for a horse who could be a little bit better on the grass. Should be fine coming off the bench with a very capable barn. Over the last 5 years, Mark Glatt, after a plus 180-day layoff, 39 for 202, that's 19%, and basically a $2 ROI, like 199. So very, very solid, steady work tab, capable barn, getting a horse off a long layoff, working with a nice horse. I just think this horse is a little bit better than he may look on paper, than his speed figures might be. I think Captain Sparrow could sit a nice trip.
And Captain Sparrow gets the riding services of our meets leading rider, Antonio Fresu. Also not in for the tag, due to the long layoff. Race number 2, we're on the main track, 6 furlongs the distance. It's a race for an allowance race, I should say, for restricted fillies and mares, non-winners of 1 other than. Scratch the 2, Velocious leaves us with a field of 6. Race 2 also begins the popular 50-cent early pick 4. Favorite first off the claim, down on the rail, number 1, Dory Miller, now trained by Leonard Powell. What say you about race 2, Gino?
And, they don't claim a whole ton of horses, too, but they're very capable. The last 5 years, 4 for 16 first start off the claim. 9 of those horses finished top 3. You also get Hernandez to jump aboard, too. So not only are you claiming, you're getting the leading rider. I have her in the second spot. I think she's a really solid fit at the level. Horse who I'm most interested in here, Tom, maybe offers you a little more value, would be the 4, Border Control. This horse is now going to go second start back after a 5+ month layoff. Was facing a pretty tough group last time out. That horse Cash Call, who defeated her, came back to win the Grade 3 Summertime Oaks next time out. That was her 3rd victory in a row. Border Control was a step slow. She pushed through the inside to 3rd. She was a couple lengths off. She had to alter course. She was closing pretty well. No match for the top 2, no match for the winner that day, but I like the effort from Border Control. I think she can sit close enough to the speeds in here and have a little bit of finish.
And Border Control ridden by Armando Ayuso, who is winning races in bunches and gaining a lot of steam with very, very high percentage winning barns. Race number 3, staying on the main track, 6.5 furlongs of the distance. Fillies and mares, $20,000 claimers, non-winners of 3 races lifetime. Scratch the 3, Queen Gervin leaves us with a field of 5. Maury Line favorite number 1, Vegas Love, from the Red Hot Phil D'Amato barn, 8-5 on the Maury Line. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite here, Gino?
Yeah, I initially liked the 3, Queen Gervin, and this one was scratched, so I'm kind of lukewarm into both of the favorites here. I don't love either one of them. Noki doesn't have a whole lot of speed, but if you just look at some of the races that she exits, she's faced way, way better. I mean, horses like One Magic Filly, Hope Road, Sweet Azteca, Crimson Rose, all of those horses came back to win next out, and we're talking about a couple graded stakes winners in there as well. Vegas loves 2 dirt races. They're fine, but they're at Mahoning Valley and they're at Belterra. We don't really know if the level of horses that she's been facing. Now it's a small field, though. They're probably going to be tough in here. I might upgrade the 5 a little bit as a horse to throw in a pick 5 if you're playing an early pick 5, because I can actually see her being a horse that could maybe get loose on the lead if they try to get aggressive and send her up front.
We're talking about percentages provided by the Daily Racing Form and/or Formulator. You take a look at She's Just Fluffy. Trainer Steve Miotti does exceptionally well off the long layups. You'll never see it in the workout lines because his horses typically work slow, but certainly he brings them back ready to fire. It could be an interesting runner to play in race number 3. Race number 4, we're back on the turf course. 1 mile's the distance. It's for 3-year-old fillies. It's an allowance race. We've got a field of 5. The Maury Line favorite returning off a layoff for the Little Red Feather team is number 2, Thought Process, who's 3-5 in the Maury Line. Also, as you heard track announcer Frank Miramati say, race 4 is named in honor and in memory of Professor Gordon Jones. A number of dignitaries are on track, Hall of Fame jockeys, other people celebrating Professor Gordon Jones' life. You'll see them all in the winner's circle after the winner is declared official. For race number 4, who's the filly they're going to be standing next to when race 4 is official, Gino?
I think a nice one named Thought Process. Feels like a good spot for her to start her return to the races and to start her season. She was entered in a dirt race, I think recently, that would look like it was a tougher spot for her. This just seems like a lot better spot because she can face not necessarily the most difficult group here in the world. There's a couple talented fillies, I think, in here, but she's certainly the class, being a graded stakes winner. I mean, she was only 9-2 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. She was one of the better horses in that division last year. She has speed, but she can also sit. I think that's what makes her pretty tough in a spot like this. It's that she's not just one-dimensional. If somebody else wants to go to the front, maybe someday Lady from the inside, she can sit off and has no problem sitting second or third. So I think it's a good spot for her. Underneath, I mean, the 2 horses to the outside, I think are both talented horses. Schilflied drops out of graded stakes company and cuts back, so maybe could be a little fitter here. Perhaps if Thought Process gets beat, it could be by a horse like that one who's got a little bit more bottom recently.
Race number 5, we're back sprinting on the main track, 6.5 furlongs the distance. California bred, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Field of 6, number 2, the GM from the Mike Pipey barn is the 8-5 Morning Line favorite, returning off a layoff. Hasn't been seen in the afternoon since late December. What say you about race 5, Gino?
Yep. Solid, beat a couple next out winners, but I'm going to go in a different direction. I do think that the cutback from a mile to 6.5 will be helpful for Mining District to the outside, who's been able to sit close, but just loves finishing second 4 times out of the 10 races we've seen and 4 of the 8 on the dirt. The horse who I think is interesting is the 4 Cody Boy. This might be the playable horse in here. He can sit a little bit closer than he was able to sit in his most recent race when he finished 3rd. He was a step slow from the rail. He was last. He moved up the inside. He was about 5 lengths off, and he closed very very well up the rail, the really nice gallop out. 6.5 furlongs could be interesting for him. You sort of go through his form. I think you can eliminate a couple of the races, one of them on the grass, the race, the 16 non-2 back in March. He had some legitimate trouble that day. All of a sudden, now the form looks a little bit better. And the 2 dirt races for Sierra are actually the career best Beyer speed figures. So he's really in good form right now. I think Cody Boy, the 4, is going to sit a nice trip.
Ironic that the sire of Cody Boy is Grayson. Gino and I were talking off air about the racing career of Grayson, who's one of the more prolific California-bred sires, standing in the state, still doing extremely well as a stallion. Limited racing opportunities, I believe only 5 or 6 starts in his career, but he certainly was a win machine. Race number 6 on today's 12-race card begins our 50-cent middle pick 4. That's right, we're offering a 50-cent middle pick 4 beginning in race 6, and it's the first of 2 stakes races on today's card. Race 6 is the possibly perfect stakes for fillies and mares going 1.25 miles on the turf course. We've got a field of 6. The heavy morning line favorite who loves Southern California is number 2, Mrs. Astor, who's 9-5 on the morning line. Jonathan Thomas, Gino, the trainer of Mrs. Astor, has won turf races here in Southern California at a 20% win clip since opening day back on December 26th. He's found a niche for his runners here in Southern California on the turf course.
Yeah, and to even get a little more specific, so we're talking about how you can use Formulator. I was thinking, gosh, it seems like a lot of the time it's long on the turf too, right? You think about Jonathan Thomas, you think about distance on the turf. Over the last year, in stakes races from 1 mile to 1.5 miles on the turf, 11 for 35, 31%, a 320 ROI, average winning payout, $10.17. I think you're going to see that stat on the broadcast today in race number 6 as well. 3 of those wins were Mrs. Astor also over the last year. So in spots just like this, long on the turf in a stakes race, he just knows the horses that are going to run well in here. I was trying to find a way to beat her just because there's not very much early speed in this race at all. There's nobody that really wants to go. And maybe if Story Heavens gets aggressive and is ridden that way in this time, maybe she can turn the tables on her, or maybe they get aggressive with Kentucky Gal. But I just don't see that front runner that I'm sure is going to go out there and set the pace. So that's why I ended up with Mrs. Astor in here. I do respect Starry Heavens, and I do respect Kentucky Gal and what she's been doing. If you look at the company that she faced, Lady Claypool was a graded stakes winner. Prancing Through Paris was a Calbred stakes winner. Public Assembly was a graded stakes winner who stepped up into grade 1 company. Once she got away from those horses, she was able to win. So I respect all 3 in here, but I think Mrs. Astor is going to be tough.
A couple of notes on the possibly perfect, the race we're discussing. Mrs. Astor was entered in tomorrow's San Juan Capistrano, but has been declared out of that race, and of course we'll run today in the possibly perfect. Also, Starry Heavens is a little bit of an interesting price play, perhaps, as Gino mentioned, if she goes to the lead, which I think she might since she drew the outside box. She's cutting back from 12 furlongs to 10 furlongs. Perhaps that shorter distance will be able to allow her to turn the tables on Mrs. Astor, who has beaten her the last 2 times. Phil D'Amato trains 3 of the 6 in the race, in race 6 as well. Race number 7 is when the $2 pick 6 begins. We're sprinting the abbreviated sprint distance of 5 furlongs on the main track for maiden special weight Calbred 2-year-old fillies. There are 2 scratches. Scratch the 2 grazing in the grass, as well as one of the also eligibles, number 11, Leno's Angel. That does mean, however, that number 12, Final Table Lady, does draw into the body of the field. The morning line favorite is number 10, That Ain't Right, from the Steve Sherman barn. 10 different ways you can go here, Gino. Which way are you going and why?
Yeah, I think that the horse who draws in off the also eligibles list is really interesting for Parabon, a barn that we know through the years is really good in spots like this with first-time starters, with young horses,
correct,
2-year-olds. So you look at the work tab for this one, steady tab that we've seen some really nice fast works in the morning. I want to make sure I'm using the 12 Final Table Lady who draws in. I did think the 3, the other Parabon as well, with the blinkers coming on. Sources Dam won the debut, and that race, her debut, My Love Caroline, was not bad. Shout out to my mom, Carol. Bumped around at the start, was way out of it, made a nice 4-wide move, and kept grinding into third. I thought it was a pretty good performance. She got action that day. So I think Jorge Parabon has a really strong hand in here. I initially thought the 2 grazing in the grass was interesting. I'll keep an eye on that one if she shows up again somewhere else soon.
A couple additional comments on Gino's second selection, number 3, My Love Caroline. She puts the blinkers on today in career start number 2. She also made Brad Free's horses to watch list in her debut. I'll read to you what Brad Free wrote in his weekly column. Brad wrote that she was favored off fast works, but lost her chance at the start. You can go back and be the judge of that watching the replay. But if in fact true is the beaten favorite, you got to give My Love Caroline, one of 2 Parabon runners in the first leg of the pick 6, a long, long look. Race number 8 begins 2 very popular wagers, the 50-cent late pick 5, as well as the $3 all turf pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. We kick off both wagers in race 8, sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course for $32,000 claimers. A field of 7, number 4. Sharp as Attack from the Jeff Mullins barn is the 2-1 morning line favorite. This is a really good betting race, even though it's a field of 7, Gino.
Yeah, if you need any extra help, we also previewed the late pick 5 sequence on the San Anita YouTube channel with Jeff Chapman. Shout out to Chappie. Shout out to Artie up there, who was my buddy from high school. We went through every pick 5 all throughout the year. There's really good information there too, all sorts of handicapping insights from different crews of people. What makes Sammy run is such a good fit in spots like this. You know what you're going to get from this guy. I really, really like him. He's a late runner. Mark Glad has talked about how he's been such a big fan of this horse through the years. He's won his last 2 races at the Flat 6 for a long trip. If you're just looking at buyer speed figures, over his last 9 races, he has 7 buyers between 84 and 88. He's just extremely consistent. You know what you're going to get from him. And I think with Noble Reflection in here and the presence of a couple horses to the outside, he could get the type of trip that he needs. Osage Creek looks like he has one way to go. I think his best way is on the lead. I can also see Harry's on the Fly putting a little pressure on, but really Sharp as Attack, who could sit a good trip if he's able to sit off a little bit. But I think those two will put the pressure on Noble Reflection. I think it sets up very well for what makes Sammy run, like Santa Anita, likes the Flat 6 for a long trip.
Race number 9 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 7 furlongs for maiden special weights. A field of 8. Number 2, Nassau Circle, is a first-time gelding. The third career start for number 4, Sierra Silver makes her the 7 makes him, I should say, the 7-5 morning line favorite. One of 2 trained in here by Bob Baffert, but Cheever down on the rail also ran in the same race that Sierra Silva exits. So it looks to be maybe a precocious race down the road.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that race too. I think Cheever, Sierra Silva, either one of them could win. There are 2 horses in here that I'm a little interested in at prices. The first one, the Bob Baffert first-time starter, actually, One More Time, who we can look at on First TV and see a lot of the morning works, which is a fantastic resource.
Free of charge. Free of charge.
And you just type in the horse's name One More Time and boom, you'll see the last 3 works. I think the works from May 24th, May 30th, June 7th, I think we're all on there. So May 24th was working with Citizen Bull, last year's 2-year-old champ, was the target for Citizen Bull because Citizen Bull was going to run over at Saratoga in a sprint race. So I think they were trying to train Citizen Bull to come from off the pace a little bit more to have a target. And that it was a work that's tough to get a gauge for, right? Because being used as a target. The next work, though, was working heads up with Citizen Bull. They put this horse on even terms and was working heads up with Citizen Bull, who went on and ran well at Saratoga. Then raced with the horse. Then worked with the horse named Varney, who's actually going to be running tomorrow, I believe, to close out the card. Varney went over to Pimlico, won a maiden special weight there. There's some ability in the mornings with One More Time. Interesting. The 3 Penalty Box is a horse who actually comes out of that race that we're talking about with Sierra Silver and with Cheever. I think Penalty Box might be one of the more interesting horses out of that race. He was inside, stepped slow, moved into some traffic, stopped, and then started moving well up the inside and ran into traffic again. It just was a bad race. Never really had much of a shot. Now the blinkers come on. This horse has been training really, really well in the morning, and Michael McCarthy does a great job with horses making their second start. I would not be shocked if the 3 takes a big step forward. So we'll be looking for some value in race number 9.
8-1 over 10-1. Gino's top 2 picks in race number 9. Number 5, One More Time. Number 3, Penalty Box. Race number 10 is our second stakes race on today's card. It's the Grade 3 Daytona Stakes coming down the hillside turf course at a distance of 6.5 furlongs. Race 10 also begins the $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. There are 2 scratches in race 10. Scratch the 4, Daniel's Magic, as well as number 5, Stay Hot. Take note that number 8, Watsonville, who Gino alluded to earlier, is a first-time gelding. But the morning line favorite is the runner that finished second, almost won the Breeders' Cup Sprint at Del Mar last year, number 7, Motorius, who's 6-5 on the morning line. Hasn't been seen since late December, so there's a question mark there. These are not a bunch of tomato cans either. Who do you like in race 10 and why, Gino?
It feels kind of like a starting point for him, right? You get this race into him, then you can get one at Del Mar and then, get ready for the Breeders' Cup. So I feel like this is starting for him. He still is good enough to win the race if he gets the right trip. The horse who I'm very interested in, though, is Bran, the number 2, because he has ability. And I think if everybody were to show up here with their A game and their best efforts, Bran and Motorius would probably be the 2 horses who are closest on the wire. Bran had just been unlucky because he had some trouble. He had physical issues that kept keeping him from stringing races together. Tom, you can see only a couple races in September, only one in 2023, and they were in September. Only one race in 2024. Came back off a long layoff, was down on the inside in a small field, was on the lead that day. He just ran exactly like a horse who needed the race. He got a little tired. I don't think he's going to be on the lead here. Second start back off the long layoff.
Couple of additional comments on Gino's top pick, number 2, Bran, in our second stakes race on the card, the Daytona. First of all, he won this race back in 2022. You can see it right there in the past performances as the even money favorite. So he likes the downhill turf course. Also, as Gino alluded to, this is his second start off a long layoff. All you got to do is glance down to the bottom of the past performances. John Sadler, second off the long layoff, hits at a 29% win clip. I already gave you the statistics for the Sadler barn for all their turf runners since mid-May. A lot of things to like about Bran, including Umberto Rispoli in the saddle. Race number 11 begins the $5 late daily double, once again with a reduced 15% takeout. We're going 2 turns, 1 mile on the main track for restricted $5,000 claimers. Scratch the 2 Sugar Beats as well as number 11, Quality Cat. Leaves us with a field of 9. Number 9, JB Books, taking a drop down in class for trainer Paul Aguirre, is the 5-2 Maury line favorite. This, to me, Gino, was a bit of a head scratcher. I need your help. Yeah,
this is a tricky race. I want to use at least a couple of the horses who I know have speed, because on paper, there's really not very many horses who have a lot of speed. So that means Royster is going to be in the mix for me. And we're playing him off a race where he gets beat 34 lengths, right? But I'm not really worried about the finish with a horse like this. I was just worried mostly about the start. I wanted to see that he still had some of that early speed in there. And he did. He showed that early speed. He was involved in the race early on, and then he faded. He ran like a horse who needed the race after, I think, a 16-and-a-half-month layoff. So now you go second start back after that long layoff. He can get this trip. I think he might be out front, and he's a horse who I definitely wanted to use in a pick 4 or a pick 5 situation. I respect the 9, JB Brooks, quite a bit. The 5 will probably be another one I throw into the mix, Devil in the Bluegrass. I think he can sit a pretty good trip, Tom.
Let's talk about your top pick for a minute, and that would be number 4, Royster, who you alluded to. As a handicapper and have been playing the races for a long time, I love when a horse has a bad running line, and I can still make the case for the horse, because most horse players are going to look at that running line, as you mentioned, finished 8, beaten by 34 lengths, and they're automatically going to dismiss him simply off that per performance. But all you got to do is be a little bit creative, and even think of Point Given way back when in the Kentucky Derby. He ran a dismal race, didn't finish in the top 3, didn't finish in the money, and yet he was the leading 3-year-old horse of his particular year. I love situations like this, and I think you do too, because if you can make a case for him logically, suddenly you're looking at a big price. He's 12-1 on the morning line.
Absolutely. The finish scares people off, but what we're concerned with is he still have some of that early speed. Something I learned from sitting next to Matt Carruthers many day on the desk. He's looking for the speed, and he's looking for horses like this too, who are coming off of really bad races.
Fair enough. Let's take a look. We covered a lot of ground. Talked about your dad, talked about your mom, talked about Matt Carruthers.
I know, all over the place.
Squeezed a lot in
playing bingo card. If you got that on your bingo card, Matt Carruthers, then
or take a shot. Race number 12 is the last and final race on today's card. But keep in mind, we've got 12 more races for you tomorrow on closing day. First post again tomorrow will be at 12:30 p.m. on Father's Day. But in race number 12, we're offering $1 super high five wagering. We're traveling 1 mile on the turf course for maiden special weight Calbred fillies and mares. There are 2 scratches. Scratch the 3, Club Teaser, as well as number 14, Silver Flirt. But one of the also eligible is number 13, G Oro, does draw into the body of the field. The relatively lukewarm favorite is number 8, Ride Gold at 3-1. The waters get deeper in this nightcap, Gino.
Yeah, this is not an easy race here to close things out. I think you want to be able to have as many horses as you possibly can afford in your late exotics here.
Including number 4, Strawberry Tizzy. So before we talk about Strawberry Tizzy, and we can see you like Strawberry Tizzy best, let's take a look, courtesy of our friends at courtesy of Sandy at Simulcast Department. Let's take a look at Strawberry Tizzy's debut performance back on May 31st. It was for maiden $50,000. And here's another example, Gino, where the running line probably doesn't tell the whole story. She's certainly 20-1 on the morning line and probably going to be every bit of that come post time unless we heard her price. But you be the judge. Strawberry Tizzy in this replay we're about to watch breaks from the outside post number 9. So let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action of Strawberry Tizzy's debut performance back on May 31st, breaking from post 9.
And they're off. Slightly awkward start for Infinity Dream, who nonetheless does have a little bit of early speed and is coming after front runner Ellie Moore. In the meantime, Frog has come through quicker than both, and Frog takes the lead. Ellie Moore now second, followed by Cloudy Women, Infinity Dream fourth. Then Uptown Sweetheart, 6 off the pace in fifth, 3 clear of Strawberry Tizzy. Honky Tonk Rhythm is next. McKenna Rita, and a long way to Dixie's Delight. Kyle Frey and Frog take him into the far turn with a 2-length lead. Ellie Moore and Juan Hernandez tracking from second, followed by Cloudy Women third. Then comes Infinity Dream, inching a little bit closer in fourth, still 3.5 or so off the lead. 3 clear of Uptown Sweetheart. The others well back as they pass the quarter pole and come for home. Frog and Ellie Moore. Ellie Moore right up to Frog at the 8th pole. They're nose to nose. 2 lengths back, Cloudy Women and Hector Barrios. Cloudy Women puts her head down and is coming swiftly now in the center of the course. And Cloudy Women comes to Ellie Moore and goes right on by. Cloudy Women wins it going away. Ellie Moore.
Gino, Strawberry Tizzy was just getting warmed up, and the reason why I say that is take a look at the jockey with the red cap and take a look at the saddle cloth. There's good old number 9, Strawberry Tizzy on the gallop out, giving every indication that she's going to like 2 turns, which is the distance of today's 12th race. 20-1 seems like a massive overlay to me.
Yeah, and this horse wheels back real quickly off of that. What I like is another thing I think people will look down. You see maiden 50 sometimes. You feel like this is a step up. Remember, that's open maiden 50 versus a Calbred maiden special weight. Sometimes it's like a lateral move. Based on speed figures, this horse is not overmatched at all. Any second time improvement now with the stretch out. I think Strawberry Tizzy is one of those horses you definitely want to use in your late exotics. I thought the 12 Ride Elbow Ranch had some early traffic inside, was a bit green, looked done, then came on again. To me, that's when I think horses may want to go long, when they show you that sort of second gear. Both wins for the Dam were going long on the turf. So the 12 is a horse who could show some major improvement. But love chatting with you. TQ, love doing this. Want to give a couple of shout outs to my colleagues, Brad.
Whoever we've missed.
Brad and Steve, Brad Free, Steve Anderson do such a fantastic job through the years here in Southern California. Everybody knows them.
They're stalwarts.
Simulcast, Michelle, Zoe, what's it, Pete, Millie, Jessica and Jess and Michelle gave me a long shot winner last week on Saturday to close out the card. DRF.com.
They're horsewomen. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. DRF, YouTube, want to make sure we hit on that. Oh, and then my buddy Frank Miramati calling the races. How great was he at Saratoga?
Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
In very trying conditions. A lot of races being taken off the turf, races being canceled.
Yep.
A lot of pressure, but he came through like the champ we know he is.
Absolutely. Brian Martinez taking care of us there. My friend Shiva taking care of us on the simulcast. I'm trying to kiss everybody's butt before we get out of here, Tom.
Well, you've done a very, very good job, not only kissing everybody's butt, but making us better handicappers with your insight, Gino. Before I let you go, though, I got to remind you of your favorite wager, the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. It's in action again today. As you can see, 3 races from Santa Anita, 2 races from Gulfstream Park, low 15% takeout, $1 minimum. The action in the Coast to Coast Pick 5 kicks off with Gulfstream Park Race 9, 2:08 p.m. Pacific time. Gino, keep up the great work. Daily Racing Form is a better organization because of the input that you have for horse players all around the country. Always appreciate you having you on the seminar. I'm sure I'll see you down where the turf meets the surf.
Oh, yeah. You and I will have a beverage down at Del Mar in about a month.
An adult beverage or two, to say the least. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great afternoon, and nothing but the best of luck. We'll see you tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. The track conditions are brought to you by John Deere. We are fast and firm, and the rail on the turf at 0 feet. Here are the changes. No new reports in the last 30 minutes. First race, scratch 4, Jaguar John, early pick 5 starts with the opener. Race 2, scratch number 2, Velocious. Note that 5, Happy Sue, is 2 pounds over. In the third, scratch number 3, Queen Gervin. In the fourth, named in memory of Professor Gordon Jones. Just a blinker note. Race 5, no changes. Race 6 is the possibly perfect stakes. There is a middle pick 4, no changes. Race 7, scratch number 2, Grazing in the Grass. Scratch number 11, Lino's Angel. The 12 draws in, will carry 1 over. 7th race starts the $2 pick 6. 8th starts the all-turf pick 3 and late pick 5. No changes in race 8. In the 9th, late pick 4 wagering is offered. Just a blinker note. The 10th, the grade 3 Daytona, scratch 4, Daniel's Magic, scratch 5, Stay Hot. Late pick 3 starts with the 10th. $5 late double wagering offered in race 11, scratch 2, Sugar Beats, scratch 11, Quality Cat. And in the 12th, super high 5 wagering, number 1, Hello Kiddo, Kiddo, 1 over. Scratch number 3, Club Teaser. 6, Pure Chaos, 1 over. 10, California Rocks, 2 over. 11, Severe Clear, 1 over. 13, Draws In, scratch the 14, Silver Flirt. Enjoy your day here at the Great Race Place, where we offer the coast-to-coast pick 5, just 2 more left in this season, combining races from Gulfstream and Santa Anita Park. Today, it begins with Gulfstream's 9th in just over 2 hours. Low 15% takeout, retail only, and some amazing payoffs in the coast-to-coast pick 5. 26 minutes to post for race 1. We've got 12 today and 12 tomorrow to close it out. Drams for Dads among the many Father's Day activities tomorrow. Bring Dad out where he likes to hang out. It's his day. Bring him to Santa Anita Park.
Be a smarter better with First TV, the best horses, with thousands of exclusive morning workouts.